Center for Spiritual Living. It is our pleasure to welcome you here and to share this morning with you, and we're glad that you decided to share it with us. And so welcome, and we will be getting started in just a minute. I did want to share what I'm thinking about it. I'm going to miss the next 2 Sundays. Tracy and I are going to do some traveling, and so I'll be out the next 2 Sundays, but I know that Vicki and whoever will fill in and do a good job. So we'll see how they work that out. All right, now our opening song.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
I love that song, but I have a tendency to substitute, instead of for all that I have, all that I am. Because when we say have, we think about the things that are around us. And we may think about people around us, but we think about things and all. But what we are, is part of the great I am. And we have all of the potential, all of the opportunity to express fully spirit in and as and through each of us. And so we are so blessed. We are so blessed. And we are so grateful for all that we are. Now, as we take a deep breath, we settle ourselves into this space and into this time. We let ourselves think about spirit, and what that means to everyone and to us. The spirit that we are one with and as. The spirit that blesses all that we are and all that we can be. The spirit who is our constant companion and our constant comfort. And we take a deep breath of gratitude for all that is and settle into this Sunday knowing that we will receive what it is that we want to receive, whether we really know what it is or not, and that we will give to each other our love and our support. And we are so blessed. And so it is. Okay, we have our reading this morning from Tammy. And Tammy, take it over.
I am your practitioner of the day, and know that you are all held in my prayer. Everything you need praying for, I know I'm going to do that for you, and you are so loved. Today's reading is from Reverend Jane Beach from this month's Science of Mind. We're now at September 27th, and I could have read all 27 days to you. That's how wonderful I think this woman's thoughts are. And I was able to pick the opening song, I Am So Blessed. And so when I came to September 26th yesterday, lo and behold, the title was Blessed. So believing in synchronicity, I felt I should read this and share this with you all today. Blessed. It is not possible that you could ever find yourself anywhere where God was not fully present, fully active, able, and willing to set you free. Emmett Fox. I wrap myself in the mantle of love and fall asleep, filled with peace. Ernest Holmes from The Science of Mind. The night of October 9th, 2017, I fled the fires that engulfed Santa Rosa, California, where I was living. Gathered with others in the darkness, having no idea if we were being encircled by fire, I closed my eyes, my only need to feel the presence of the one who cherishes me. Immediately, I was surrounded by and infused with love itself, like a blanket of comfort and protection holding me. My heart became still as what I needed most in all the world was right where I was. I made it through that night, and gratefully, my condo wasn't burned. I sold it to a family whose home was destroyed. I left them half my furniture, glassware, and linens as stuff was no longer important when others had nothing. I moved 100 miles away to another home in Northern California. I carried with me some residual PTSD, bursting into tears at the sound of a siren. Scouting out my new surroundings, I walked into a store and saw a painting that simply said, Blessed. Quietly, tears started to fall. Once again, I was reminded that wherever I am, love is there, holding me in its grace, comfort, strength, and protection. I bought that painting. It's the only thing hanging in my bedroom. It's the last thing I see before I sleep, and the first thing I see as I begin my day. As my eyes fill once again, I am grateful for knowing how blessed I am. No matter where I am or what's going on around me, the one who cherishes me is there. And I can't help but think, was she in another fire now? So I haven't heard, but hopefully not.
Okay. Thank you, Tammy. That's beautiful. And we are blessed in situations that don't look like it. Okay, last week we talked about acres of diamonds. And we talked about the African farmer who got diamond fever. I think about it as gold fever here in the States, where people men particularly, went off to find gold. Well, he went off to find diamonds. He sold his prosperous farm for not near what it was worth, and he took off to find his diamond mine. He sold it to another successful farmer who made a good go at the farm and was doing really, really well. And he had a visitor one day, and he walked in the door and saw this rock on the mantelpiece, and he picked it up and he hefted it, and he thought, he said, "Do you know what you have? You have a diamond." And so the second farmer took that, said, "I have them all over the streams. I have big ones and little ones and all kinds." And they turned that into one of the most prosperous diamond mines in Africa, South Africa. So the lessons were, one, the first farmer got an idea. He went off, but he didn't do his homework. He didn't figure out what a raw diamond looks like. And so he couldn't recognize it when he saw it. And he didn't do the research that you need to research to see how you find them. There are a lot of times you find one in a stream and you realize that there are a lot more underneath. And he didn't do that. He just took off. He died in despair. And the second farmer, after he had a visitor from a traveler, he became a very rich person because he had a diamond mine. He was surrounded with diamonds, acres of diamonds. So we were talking about that last week, and that is one half of the article by Earl Nightingale. And I was saying his name wrong last week, and I apologize, but it's Earl Nightingale. He's a prolific author and speaker and spiritual leader. And so he wrote this article, and when I read it, I thought, oh my, this is good stuff, and it is good stuff. He is respected and looked at as being a wealth of information. Okay, so when we look at our neighbor's pasture and we think it's greener than ours is, and we're jealous, it's maybe because they take care of theirs more than we take care of ours. So you have to start first with what you have and take care of what you have and understand the value of it and how to work with it and do all those things. So today is about how do we find our diamonds. One, we expect to find them. The number one thing is we expect to find diamonds in our lives. They will be part of what we are, part of who we are. And we may not have eyes to see them at all, but we can develop the ability to see our diamonds. And we do that through asking questions and other things, but the questions that we ask are very important in how they're phrased and what they say. And so we're going to talk about that in just a minute. He said, if you're happy with your life, then keep it. If you're not exactly happy with your life, you're just going along like you think you're supposed to go along, like everybody else does, then maybe you want to make some changes. He said at one point, if everybody who had ever thought about leaving home had left home, nobody'd be living where they are now. Most of them would be out living somewhere else doing something else. And I thought, maybe I need to run away from home. I know that we've all thought of it at one time or another. We have to ask ourselves if we're running to something favorable or if we're running away, because we want to run toward something that is special for us. And so we look at our lives and we see if we're happy with them. And if we are, then okay, that's fine. If we're not, then we begin to ask even more questions. Um, he said, if you're in a rut, and you may like that rut, keep in mind that a rut is a grave with both ends kicked out. that, that image just, really got to me, that a rut is just a grave with both ends kicked out. So think about that if you're in a rut. And it may be the rut you want to be in, and that's fine. But if it's not, how would you change it to be something else? And so he knew a man in Arizona who owned a service station, small service station. He was out in a small town in Arizona, and he, was doing okay. He wasn't making bunches of money, but he was doing okay. And he's standing out in the door of the service station itself, watching his attendant fill a man's gas tank. Do y'all remember the days where somebody else filled your gas tank? You weren't allowed to fill your own gas tank. You weren't trustworthy. So he was filling the gas tank, and there's this man who is obviously well off, and he's just standing there from one foot to the other, bored. And the service station owner said to himself, that man has money in his pocket, and I want that money in my pocket. If he had an easy way to spend it, there are so many things he would want to spend it on. And so he began to add things. He started with fishing tackle and fishing reels and fishing bait and fishing licenses. And then he went to hunting, and he did hunting licenses and guns and hunting gear. And then he added other things, and then he ended up with an auto shop. At first it was just parts, and then it became an auto shop. And inside he always had candy and soda. And he added a premium chocolate that had to be kept in the refrigerator. And he was the leader of selling that chocolate in his state for a long time, because people loved that they could get their car filled up and go inside and grab a little sinful chocolate. And there he had taken what most men who had a small service station, and he had turned it into something much bigger. He didn't want to be anything else. He didn't want to be any other job. He wanted to do the job that he was in, the business that he was in, and he wanted to do it better. And so he was open to the inspiration and the diamonds that were all around him. And he let them in, and he looked at them, and he made the decisions to follow them. How many people have had the same idea about at the same time he was there, having his idea? They had the same idea, but they thought, oh, I don't have the money to invest in the inventory. Or, oh, it won't work here. We're so little. And all those other things that kept them from seeking, from doing. And this one, he didn't keep it from, doing. He moved every time he had an idea, he'd move through it. And he became anybody that lived in the neighborhood, if they wanted gas, they came to his service station, because they know that they could find other things too. And they enjoyed that. They enjoyed the camaraderie, and they enjoyed being able to buy this, that, or the other. And so he was very successful. So as we are looking at our lives, where are our diamonds? And are we open to see them and open to receive them? The first question that he asked is, how good am I at what I'm personally doing? How good am I at what I'm personally doing? And you have to ask yourself, are you giving it energy? Are you enjoying it? Is it something that you have passion for? Is it something that you feel value in? All of those things will tell you whether or not you are living life, or you're just in a rut going through life. And we sometimes think that, well, everybody does this, and so I guess I should too. Well, no, not everybody does. Not everybody does, and you can be one of the ones that does or does not. You can be the one who branches out to something new, or you can stick close to what you've been doing all along. Now, he gears this a lot toward a person with a job, a person with an 8-to-5 job or a business that they own, something like that. Some of us are closer to retirement than that. And we don't have an 8-to-5 job, and we don't want an 8-to-5 job. And they're done that. That's personal. And we don't really, we're not sure what we want to do, but we don't want to just fade away. You know, we are retired, or we almost retired. And do we do something new? Do we do something that we're doing now, do it better? Do we find new ways to do it? He says to ask yourself, how will what you're doing be done in 20 years? And when you get an image of that, do it now. If you'll be leading the way instead of following. And so asking yourself, what am I doing? Is it the right thing for me to be doing? Am I giving it my all? And if that's what I want to do. Do I want to just go the way I am now, or do I want to change and express in a new way? And it doesn't have to be huge. You don't really have to run away from home. But, you know, there's some things that you can think about that are different. I knew a lady who died in her early 90s, and she was just a wonderful person, a wonderful person. She had a boyfriend the whole time I knew her. And she would go down to the old folks' home and read to the old people. She was in her 80s and 90s. And she'd go to schools and she'd read to the young kids. She loved reading, and she'd do that. And so she always was giving something. She was always doing something, and that fit for her. You know, she lived a long and very prosperous life and seemed very happy about her life and about what she was doing and what was happening for her. So retirement doesn't mean necessarily that you just so sit in the rocking chair. I'm looking for just some of that, but you know, but it means, where can you rescript your life? And do you want to? Do you want to rewrite the text of your life and put it into a new perspective and put it into a new way? Or do you want to keep it just the way it is? It's easier, of course, to stay where we are and not worry about being any more than we are. As he closes with a quote, that's just the way this funny-looking, two-legged, curious, imaginative, tinkering, fiddling dreamer called a human being operates. It escapes from problems, not by running away from them, but by overcoming them. And no sooner does it overcome one set of problems, but it starts looking around for a new and more difficult pickle to get into and out of. So you ever thought of yourself as a funny-looking, two-legged, curious, imaginative, tinkering, fiddling dreamer called a human being? I thought that was a great description. It really opens up the ideas of what we can do and what we're capable of. He talks about curious imagination. And I know that we've all known people who had one area that they really just put a lot of energy into. And they really understood it, and they wanted to understand it, and they, you know, really spent the time to know how it worked and know what it did and all of that, because that was what was a passion for them. And have you had a passion all your life that you have never done anything with? Maybe now's the time to do it. You know, you can be Grandma Moses and become a famous painter or something else. But it's fun to think about what your life is and what your life could be. So these are some of the questions that he asked. When you go out diamond mining, you you want to ask some questions in the right way that will get you moving down the road, not stop you. How good am I at what I presently do? Are you good at being retired? Are you good at your office work? Are you good at whatever it is that you're doing? And if not, why not? Because you don't have the capability or because you don't have the passion? A lot of times it's because we don't have the passion. For whatever reason, we've gone past that point of being really involved in something. Then how can I call myself a first-class professional at my work? A first-class professional. How would my work stand up against the work of others in my field? Do I know all I can about my industry or profession? How can the customer be given a better break? How can I increase my service? There are rare and very marketable diamonds lurking all around me. Have I been looking for them? Have I examined every facet of my work, of the industry or profession in which it has its life? There are better ways to do what I'm presently doing. What are they? How will my work be performed 20 years from now? Everything in the world is in a state of evolution and improvement. How can I be now what will eventually be done anyway? How can we move out to the image of what will be handled, how our jobs will be handled, our lives will be handled in 10 or 20 years, and can we move into that now? I don't think that service station owner ever thought of himself as being 20 years advanced, but he was just doing what he could do. He just was acting on the diamonds that he saw and taking action and doing it and making it happen. So, and we can do the same. I have, with the retirement thing, I asked some questions of myself. Am I resting or am I shutting down? Am I resting or am I shutting down? Am I getting ready to do something else with my life, or am I just letting it go past? I can, or I don't have to do what I'm doing now. Is it okay to rewrite the text of my life? Is it okay to rewrite the text of your life? You have a lot of history. You have a lot of expectations from yourself and others. Can you rewrite that text? Can it be something different for you? So all those questions, and I'm hoping that in our discussion we'll talk about some of them, all those questions are asked in a way that will take us to the next level. Questions like, will this ever end? Take us not where we want to go. Questions like, why is it me? Why do I get picked on? Those are not going to be beneficial to us. They're not going to get us where we want to be. So we have to choose our questions. What are our questions? Are they leading us forward, or are they staying, creating a stationary energy in us? Okay, and then that's what we ask ourselves. And we use imaginative curiosity, or curious imagination, and let it lead us to the diamonds. And we have to learn not to say, oh, that's, I can't do that. I'm sure that there were lots of service station owners who thought about what the first man thought about, but they went, oh, I can't do that, can't afford that, can't invest in all that inventory, and what if it doesn't work, and all those things. So those are not the questions that you want to ask. You want to ask, how do I make it happen? How do I listen and find my diamonds, and how do I make it happen? And it happens, moves forward. Okay. I found it very interesting that he was talking about going to the next whatever in our lives. And he talked about it a lot, about are we stuck where we are? Or are we moving to where we want to be? And it's a question we ask ourselves all the time. We ask it of each other, we ask it of ourselves. And so this today is an opportunity to focus on that, to focus on the questions that you're asking, where they would lead you. Instead of saying, do I have diamonds? What diamonds do I have? Where are my diamonds? Give me eyes to see my diamonds. And so we become diamond miners. I always want to be a miner, right? Go down in the earth and dig holes. No. But looking around and finding our diamonds, that can be more fun and more challenging. And so I leave you this morning with the idea of, have you seen your diamonds? Are you seeing more of them all the time? Are you open to seeing them? All right, now let's take a breath. One of the ways of finding our diamonds is to meditate and to let our minds open to the direction of spirit. And it will show us our diamonds. And if we really listen, it'll show us how to express those diamonds. And so we're grateful for that. And we sit here this morning and we breathe in the knowledge that we have diamonds and that spirit is our guide. And we breathe. Is there a place in our body that feels tense, tight? Take a look at it. See if you can tell what's going on. Is it energy in some form saying, no, you can't do that? Your diamonds aren't worth sharing. Or any of the other negative things that we tell ourselves. And look at that spot that's so tight and invite it to relax. And take a breath. Breathe. No. We constantly stand on the threshold of new and wonderful ideas. We welcome it. We bless it. And so it is. All right, so we put our hands together. We bring them down to right in front of our hearts. We look at each and every face and we see that everyone is holy now. And we salute the spirit in each other by taking a small bow. Go forth. Be mining for your diamonds.